Hey guys, thanks for stopping by to watch another video here at All I See Is W, where we talk about stocks, Bitcoin, and finance. Now, if you're new to this channel, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. In today's video, I wanted to cover overall Bitcoin updates as well as talk about the top three miners that I believe have huge potential to run up. In fact, today we saw exciting price action, Bitcoin ramping up above $100,000. And what happened? We saw big time miners, the big three, especially with the Bitcoin miners that have a high HODL along with high capacity with mining. They made huge gains today. Overall price forecast of Bitcoin, we're not going to see Bitcoin, going down anytime soon, but I think that we're going to see continuous bullish cycle with Bitcoin price targets heading up to $200,000. And what does that mean? Is this a time to buy, sell, or hold Bitcoin miners? I'll go through the three Bitcoin stocks that I believe have huge potentials and why I'm so bullish on it using technical analysis. Now, let's get started first by looking at overall updates with Bitcoin. So today we saw some really good price action with Bitcoin. Currently, it's at $99,525. We're hearing about Osprey Funds seeking SEC approval to convert its Bitcoin trust to an ETF. So we've been hearing a lot about ETFs in the year 2024. In fact, BlackRock, they were like the first institution creating Bitcoin ETFs in the United States in 2024. And we saw so much inflows into that ETF. In fact, last week, about over $500 million flowed into the IBIT ETF that was created. Now, BlackRock just launched iShares Bitcoin ETF in Canada, simplifying Bitcoin investment within a regulated framework, marking another crypto milestone where we're now hearing a lot about spot ETFs. So now there's going to be banks that will start partnering up with clients, having ledgers written, holding on to Bitcoin as well. Also, we're hearing about El Salvador aiming to widespread Bitcoin adoption by installing nodes in every home by 2025. So that really just shows the value of this commodity, this digital property, becoming more valued across the globe. And it's going to be interesting as we look at, the upcoming events with the inauguration. There's anticipation that we're going to get some updates from this very transparent leader, Donald Trump, entering the White House starting next Monday. But that's what drove Bitcoin price, that catalyst surging up over $100,000 for the price of Bitcoin because Trump was planning on revealing information about the strategy for US strategic Bitcoin reserve. And that's what caused this surge up into the 100K after the sudden downturn, sparking fears of the crypto crash. Just what we saw in the couple weeks ago. But great to see the price rocketing higher in the aftermath of Donald Trump's election victory in November. December, we saw some bleed out, but it's great to see huge upsides here right before the events leading up to the inauguration. So he's planning on dropping, Bitcoin updates, especially right when we hear the inauguration announcement. Now, as the Federal Reserve braces for a looming crisis, Trump, the style crypto president, will reportedly issue several crypto-related executive orders on his first day back in the White House, January 20th, with one predicted to spark a huge Bitcoin price boom. So this is a really driving a catalyst towards Bitcoin price. We're going to hear about the US strategy, what their plan is to hodl up the amount of Bitcoin. We know that the government did retrieve X amount of Bitcoins from the Silk Road. So they do have a hodl, but that doesn't stop here. They're just going to continue to have focused priority to mine much more Bitcoin as well as gather Bitcoin, whether it's through purchases, whatnot. But I think this is what's driving the price of Bitcoin up. And the Trump team has made it very clear that this is a priority. Trump and his team knows that Bitcoin is the new commodity that has the biggest value, biggest bang for the buck compared to even the US fiat. Along with other things, we do recognize inflation is something that will never go away. We're constantly in a deficit. Every year we're accumulating, more than $1 to $3 trillion in deficit. And Bitcoin is really the light that will change the trajectory with combating inflation with the Federal Reserve. So, all of this, what does this mean? There's going to be a surplus depletion with Bitcoin, and that's really going to drive up the price of Bitcoin over the course of the next weeks and months. And I think there's going to be changes within the SEC as additional catalysts. But three catalysts that Saylor would indicate triggers a Bitcoin price rally to 5 million, giving Bitcoin a total market cap of $100 trillion. That's huge. And I think with Trump's administration coming in here, this is really going to deregulate Bitcoin. This is going to also be called an Operation Choke Point 2.0, 2013 U.S. Department of Justice policy to debank legal industries deemed to be high risk for fraud and money laundering, has weighed on crypto companies through Biden administration. All of this is going to change, and overall, I think that we're going to see Bitcoin reach that $200,000 price level sometime in 2025 under the Trump administration. So, what does this mean? North American miners, the ones I've been talking about, we'll go through these details here, just looking at technicals. First one I wanted to share with you is Riot Platform, a pure miner play. In fact, we might hear that they will transition to become a hybrid to tap into HPC AI. So I have technical updates here. We're looking at volume as well as price action here. Current price 13.44 per share. It went up close to about 10% gains today. I actually drew these lines previously here, but it's interesting to see that we're breaking through that tier one prior resistance that we saw in November, breaking through that $15 range, which I think can happen very soon. And then we're going to test phase two when Bitcoin reaches, 120K. So which I'm anticipating to be around $20. But just based on RSI divergence indicator, we're in that bull territory here with volume becoming to pick up. So great news. Riot Platforms, they're mining at a consistent rate, over 500 Bitcoins per month. They're increasing their hash rate. They're improving their overall fleet efficiency, and they haven't even tapped into their Corsicana facility. But any news drop announcement with Riot positioning into HPC AI, tapping into that 1 gigawatt facility, Corsicana facility, this can really ramp up Riot's share price by about 40% within the day. So watch out for Riot Platforms. I see potentially getting up to $50. And we saw what it did in the last bull cycle, going from like single digits all the way up to $80. So the sky's the limit here. Let's take a look at another pure Bitcoin miner play. So, Riot has about, close to 18,000 Bitcoins on their HODL. CleanSpark has 10,000 Bitcoins on their HODL. But the unique thing about CleanSpark is that they mine at high capacity. They were able to mine over 600 Bitcoins per month last month. Consistent production, increasing their hash rate. They're actually going to get their hash rate up to about 50 exahash sometime in June of this year. And, from a technicals analysis, we're in that RSI divergence as well, bull territory here. So I hope that you took advantage of the buy low, sell high when it was in the single digits, $9. And now we currently see price action at $11.20. Great to see CleanSpark gain, close to double digits in percent gains here. I had these drawn in prior videos here, but it's interesting to see that upward trajectory with the current price. I'm still forecasting prior test of $15 before we run back up to the $18 retest prior resistance that we saw back in November. But we did see back in February, March of 2024, this price action of CleanSpark tested $24, but I do think that we can easily see 24 be achieved. I wouldn't be surprised seeing CleanSpark reach $50 in the year 2025. So watch out for CleanSpark. Here I wanted to cover Mara Holdings, ticker MARA, one of the biggest Bitcoin miners out there. They're number one in HODL. They have close to about 45,000 Bitcoins on their balance sheet. They bought more Bitcoin in 2024. They mined the most Bitcoin per month. In fact, there was one month where they were able to mine 900 Bitcoins in the recent months. But just with their hash rate, last month they locked in at like close to, 52, 53 exahash. Fleet efficiencies are improving now, getting down to like 21, 20 joules per terahash. They're in a bull cycle as well, looking at the RSI divergence indicator. Not much volume picking up, but I do think that there's huge upside here. We didn't see Mara achieving the same percentage gains today as we saw with Riot and CleanSpark, but I definitely do think we're out of the woods with it being at that low price point, basement low support at 16. I don't think we're going to get any lower. If you took advantage, which I also did at around $17, we're going to start seeing this bounce back up. First tier, $23 before we run up to $30. So there you have it. The top three, the big three miners, if you will, especially if and when Bitcoin breaks through that 200K. Overall, what's your favorite miner out of these three? Let me know what your comments and questions are down below. Thanks, guys.